Welcome back everybody, MC here with another video, and today I want to show you guys how to get Anubis in Palworld. And to get Anubis in Palworld, you need to breed other pals in order to get the egg that hatches Anubis. And there's many combinations you can use for this, but I'm going to show you the one that I use the most often. And pretty much you just need a male and a female version of one or the other of these. And I use the Mamarest and the Bronze Cherry. And I spawn them into my base and I carry them over to the mating area, to the breeding area. The breeding area itself is pretty easy to make. You need one male, one female, and cake. And I'll show you how to make the cake as well. That's going to be the most annoying part of this whole thing because cake takes so long to make. But just to double check and show you that the breeding farm is quite cheap to make, wood, stone, and fiber. You just need to have the right level for it, and once you do, it's super simple. So a bit of space is required, that's all. And then you get your pals that you're going to use to create the Anubis egg. And what I like to do is I like to make sure I'm aiming at the little stall itself before throwing them. That way they don't hit anything else, especially if you're using big pals. And if you do hit other things, they'll run away from the breeding pen, and it's such a pain in the ass trying to get them back. Now, when it comes to the Bronze Cherry, she's very hard to actually pick up. Usually I try and get her just behind the shoulder, but in general, you're going to be waiting a while before you're going to be able to pick this thing up. If you don't get the prompt, don't worry, it's not a bug. It's just Bronze Cherries are very hard to find the hitbox for. Hopefully they fix that because it's not very fun to have to chase around a Bronze Cherry for ages. So you put the two in until it goes one of each. And now it's time to make the cake. So you make the cake using the little pot, and you need some very important ingredients, most of which can be bought at the little town nearby, the little settlement. The flour, red berries, milk, eggs, and honey. And for the honey, you can get those from the bees. And I'd actually recommend capturing a bee for your base too, so that you have plenty of honey in general. So I use one of my fire pals in order to help me make this cake. And what I like to do is I like to find something around the house that I can put onto my F key, and then I literally just go make a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. And I don't actually have to watch this cake being made. And the other thing you could do obviously is just put the cake on and leave and do other stuff. And let your fire pals actually do the cake for you. But even then it takes so bloody long. So find something to put on the F key, walk away from your keyboard, and just come back after you make a cup of tea or coffee and see that the cake is done. Now, while we have a quick chance, I'm not going to make the whole cake here, but I want to tell you that you can use other combinations of pals to make the Anubis. And if I can find a good breeding list, I'll put it into the description. But in general, I like to use the two that I showed you already, the Mamarest and the Bronze Cherry. I find them kind of easy enough to catch. If you're trying to catch a Mamarest, by the way, one of the best ways to do it is to find two Mamarests fighting each other. And when they're fighting each other, just grab one of them when they get each other down to low health. It happens very often around the world, so you shouldn't have any problem finding it. It might take a lot of pal spheres in order to actually get it, but don't worry, you'll definitely catch one of these things and you'll be able to use it in your own base without actually having to fight it yourself. Most important thing. Bronze Cherry's a little bit easier because Bronze Cherry's a boss, so you can just catch her during the process of the game. So we have the huge rocky egg. And pretty much as soon as you put the cake into the breeding pen, if you've had the breeding pair in there for long enough, they'll already have everything prepared for the egg. All they need is the cake and that's it. So you take the egg out of the incubation and you put, well, in this case, I put in the new one in and Anubis was born. So I'm actually collecting Anubi, because I want to increase the power of my main Anubis. So I have 6 of them, I believe, at the moment, and I'm just gonna go here and show you the ones that I have. Most of them obviously are just not very useful. They don't have the passive skills, but my main one has a pretty good passive skill, which I'm gonna keep. I would like to get a better one in the future, This one has Power of Gaia, Muscle Head level 3, the main one I mean, and is obviously earthquake resistant as well. So I'm going to power up this Anubis, and two things you need to do to power up Anubis, of course, is you need other Anubis, another Anubi, in order to level him up. He has level 4 handiwork, by the way, level 2 transporting, and level 3 mining. His handiwork is so high that when you start using like red spheres and stuff, he really helps to just make those way faster than anything else. But by the way, it also has a partner skill. When fighting together, applies ground damage to players' attacks, sometimes dodges attacks as well. And dude, the PAL is just really useful for everything. You can use it for fighting, and you can use it for the actual labor in the camp as well. And I mean, you could practically, if you're doing mostly handiwork in your camp, you could just have a big pile of Anubi just running around doing all the jobs. And they're really quick too. They run super fast, so they get from job to job very quickly. And they have a skinny enough hitbox too, so they don't get stuck on everything. Sometimes when you're playing this game and you have some of the big ones, they get stuck on absolutely everything. They take about an hour to 2 hours to hatch, by the way, so you're probably going to want to put it into the incubator and then go off and do something else. So really quickly, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to make sure that I have the Anubis that I'm interested in, and I'm going to level it up a little bit. So we're just going to put it into the PAL condenser, and the first time you only need 4 of these. I believe the second time is either 8 or 16, so having 16 Anubis is not going to be fun. Actually, I believe it is in fact 16 for the second one. So leveling this guy up a second time is not going to be easy, but it's just a bit of a grind. And of course, then you can use the enhancements. So I'm going to enhance the work speed of this Anubis because I feel like this Anubis is going to be used for working rather than fighting. And just keep leveling up with the blue spheres, and you get a plus 6% work speed increase. Now, because he works so fast in the first place, I'm not 100% sure if I need more than that. I'm going to save some of these for some of my other pals, but in general, nothing better than leveling up the work speed of Anubis. It just makes it even better. Anyway, thank you very much for watching today's video. I'll see you again in the next one. Let me know what you think of today's one, and best of luck getting Anubis in Palworld. Ta-ta!